So I'll call in a few more megas while I'm exploring town. They'll probably kick in a few minutes, so enjoy. Um, so Steelix gets a new mega evolution as well. This one is so instead of having its traditional one, you can get like a fire mega evolution, and it makes it steel fire. And its ability is Foundry, which means all rock type moves become fire type and get a damage boost.
Okay. Okay. Yep.
Then we got then kind of similar vein. We got Mad Cargo gets a mega evolution. We think we've seen already in this, and it is its ability is
all I can think of is Camerupt and Mega Camerupt. Like it's just gonna be a clone of that. I'd say
it's a similar. It's like that but better. Because its ability is Vaporization, which means that all water move types fail.
So basically, Groudon's
ability, yeah.
Groudon's primal ability?
Yes, exactly, yeah.
Or am I making that one up?
No, you're absolutely right. The primal Groudon, I think, either cuts it by a quarter or it just means that all water moves fail. I think it's all water moves fail. They all vaporize. Yeah.
I can't remember what the primal Kyogre equivalent is.
I think it just means like all water type moves are like triple damage, I think.
Right, okay.
Can't recall. So next one, and this will please Burkbot when she hears this. Donphan gets a mega evolution by its own right. And hilarious enough, its ability is unique to it and it's called Irrelevant.
I love it.
And it means it ignores type-based immunities.
Oh, okay.
So let's just say
your ground types can be hit by electric.
Yes. Similarly, flying type Pokemon can be hit by earthquake.
Yes. Oh. Now, would that be for neutral or would that be for not effective, not very effective?
Well, my understanding of it is so like say the flying type move would just be neutral damage, but if you hit a Talonflame or Skarmory, that would be super effective.
Yes. Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Miltank gets one as well, would you believe?
I'd well believe it. Like I do think that the Miltank, I'm honestly surprised they didn't like retcon and close the gap on that
Tauros and Miltank thing, yeah.
In Paldea.
You would like to think so, but they just didn't get around to it really. So what else we got here? Oh yeah, so its ability is called Pendulum, and it boosts the power. It boosts any moves that were used repeatedly. So
you're just more incentivized to use rollout.
Exactly. And also like multi-strike moves are counted, and it also stacks with metronome. So if you use metronome and you end up with having like a rolling move as well, that also counts.
God damn. Well, to E, something, the passionate, to that, the clever.
Yeah. Those are clues to what the Elite Four are, and what their teams are setting up as.
Grand so.
That will become apparent when we actually get to the Elite Four sometime in the next 5 years.
Look, we're not quite as bad as Ocarina of Time here.
No, we're not. In fairness, we're developing at a good pace here. So let's look at the plot.
So Tauronite.
Now we know this guy is a turncoat. We know he's a traitor.
Okay.
Unfortunately, Arnis Town does not. Sorry, ignore my son. He's irrelevant.
All right.
Yes, I've heard about it. I think it's called COVID. I think.
No, seriously, they can't. I would be very surprised if any game does something with like a virus plotline in it again.
Yeah, I'd like to think so, but then like people get inspired, like writers get inspired by current events. So there is going to be a generation of games in isolation.
Absolutely. Well, yes and no. Like, is there going to be a Last of Us 3?
No, Neil Druckmann is now a TV genius, so why would he bother? He wrote a successful father and daughter relationship in TV. Like, the man is going to get Emmys thrown at his feet for simply stating the fucking obvious.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That is still a show that I do want to watch, though.
Oh yeah, no, I haven't got around to it yet, but I do want to check it out to see if it's better than the game. I suspect it is.
I hear those vaccines turn you into a Grimer.
I read it on the internet. They're also bringing over a whole lot of illegal Cantonians to replace us.
Next thing you're going to tell us I can't take my coughing into a pub.
Not like the good old days, is it? Huh? See, I grew up with a coughing and absolutely fine. Nothing bad happened to me.
Nothing wrong with a little black sludge in the lungs.
Nope, absolutely not. So, this is me trying to find a hidden item around the statue, and you probably saw in text earlier, but I couldn't find it. Fun fact: it's actually a max elixir that's hidden.
Ah, right.
Yeah. So I decided
good to get, but if you don't get, then not the end of it.
It doesn't matter really. It's not like I was kind of more worried about like a mega stone or something that was missing, you know.
Oh yeah.
So, but yeah, what else we got here? Oh yeah, these two I can do in one go because they're not really that good. Shiftry and Cacturn, mega evolutions. Shiftry
is one that I think deserves a bit of love.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Actually, this one's pretty good, you know.
Okay, so Shiftry is I kind of nearly think of it like it has its equivalent. So it obviously has its equivalent with Lombre. And it got the spotlight on it in Colosseum, which hopefully you'll get seeing in our next
playthrough. Yeah,
our playthrough.
Absolutely, looking forward to it. Yeah.
So Lombre does get a little bit of a spotlight put on it there, and like I'm not going to say too much more than that, but just Although did Shiftry was it in one of the Ranger games? Right, it was baddie in that.
And Mystery Dungeon, I think it was a baddie. Yeah. As far as I can remember.
So yeah, maybe it got its due from that.
Maybe. Now its ability is cool in that it's called Shadow Dance, and it's one that was kind of added to a couple of would-be Pokemon. It's a double speed boost when it's extreme darkness. You know, so like they introduced it's a new weather system called New Moon, which is basically boosting dark and ghost type moves and nerfing fairy type moves. So if you use Shadow Dance, it boosts his speed by a factor of 2. And Cacturn's one is pretty much the same thing. It's Sand Rush, so it's in a sandstorm, it's double speed.
Yeah.
Crawdont gets one as well, which we've seen already in this playthrough, and it's basically just adaptability. So that's one of the common generic ones, I suppose. I think we've seen Milotic as well already.
We have. Yeah,
and that's Prism Guard is his ability. And it is basically.
I do think they wasted like megas as a concept, constantly giving them to the most powerful,
popular ones. Yeah.
Whereas what they should have been for is for the shit ones that need a bit of help.
Yeah. And that's why it should have been. It's just like it should like take something that's kind of in the middling range and like boost it to something better, something decent.
Like look at Mawile, look at Altaria.
Marrow is a great example of that.
Like they went from being obscure to being absolutely fantastic, and now they're back to being obscure.
Yeah, exactly.
I completely get Charizard. You couldn't have. What did you pick there, by the way? Sorry.
I then called Deku.
Oh, that's a seed off.
Boom! Got it in one. I swear to God, he did not get prior knowledge, folks. So yes, it is actually a seed off. Well done. Yeah. Nicely done.
Deku seeds.
Yeah, exactly. And as you can see there, actually has Shiftry as its hell item. So.
Ooh. Okay.
Now, there's not a snowball's chance in hell I'm going to ever use it, but it's nice to have it there nonetheless.
Yeah. Like, not the expense of one of our friends.
Absolutely not a fucking chance. So, I'll try out a few more. Here, we're into Gen 4 ones now. So, Chateau gets one, and it's much like Flygon, it has Amplifier. Spiritomb gets one.
Ooh, lovely.
And it's, I think we might have seen that already. And its ability is Tough Claws.
I don't remember seeing Mega Shiftry, Mega Spiritomb, sorry.
Okay, gone. Then perhaps we haven't seen it then. Frostlass gets one as well, and its ability is Fur Coat, which means it half damage from physical moves.
Yeah, yep. That already is one for, is it Furfrou?
Furfrou, yeah. So Furfrou gets that already. So yeah, it's just basically just nicks it off that. Zeb Striker, interesting enough, gets one as well, and it becomes Electric Fairy. With the competitive ability.
No, like what is absolutely lacking, and what I know technically we got it, but we also literally half got it, was the Electric Dark type.
Yeah.
The only Electric Dark that I can think of that we got was Morpeko.
Morpeko, yeah.
And half the time it's pure electric, and the other half it's Electric Dark. Or Electric Fairy? I can't remember what its type is.
No, it's like base electric and then Electric Dark when it's in its hunger mode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that. They quite literally half did that job.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely true. So what else we got? We got Zoroark as one as well. So we're already moving on to Gen 5 here. Zoroark we've seen already in our battles. So that actually has Trace as its ability as opposed to anything else.
As opposed to Disguise.
As opposed to Disguise. Gothitelle got one, which we saw as well. He was doing the gym battle. So the crack with that was its ability is called Ethereal Shroud, which means that it's psychic dark already, but it actually its ability makes it gain ghost type immunity as well.
Okay.
So that's why, like, you remember, like, someone like in the town was describing that like it's the closest thing to a tree type Pokemon we ever get.
Yeah.
So it's technically psychic ghost dark, you know.
Yeah, I get you. Okay.
And then we got Reuniclus, which gets one as well. Its actual ability is a speed swap. It automatically trick rooms when it launches.
Oh damn!
And I shall get to the other ones after this bit of plot.
Ooh, lovely.
So everyone's getting vaccinated, and nothing bad happens with vaccines, guys. Trust us on this one.
Trust the science.
Yeah, exactly. Trust science. Why are you making this sound weird, James? Trust science.
Why would that be a controversial opinion at all?
No, but it isn't. I mean, you're just making it weird now by questioning it.
I mean, nothing wrong about doubling down.
Don't back down. Double down. So, see, all is what they want is a military inspection and everyone takes a blood sample. See, it's simple.
Seriously, they couldn't put out a game that would question the science of vaccine. I honestly can't imagine that kind of game ever passing by again.
It's purely by accident too. Like, this game was released like fucking 10 years ago, if not more.
Yeah.
Like, this is the scary part. It's like, oh shit, this actually all came to be. Except this time it actually wasn't a fucking conspiracy, and everyone who thinks so is an idiot.
What are you calling Aiden?
Oh, sorry, what? This is Mike still on there. Oh yes, it just so happens that we are. Look at us skipping the queue.
Yeah, always going to happen.
Yeah, it's almost like we are a person of interest.
Nothing nefarious here at all.
No, they're all perfectly above board.
Oh, and as well as that, the name Zenith. Nothing could ever be untoward with that name.
No, it's just a cool name. I might call my dog Zenith, you know.
I mean, she's awful already, so.
She's being rebranded to better suit her personality.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing great, Mrs. Williams. Please do my bidding. See, as a librarian, I read about the witch trials.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so that's where the game Werewolves came from. It's not very heartwarming, but then again, I'm a cunt. I'm not meant to be nice.
But I'm definitely. Oh dear God! Like I said, couldn't get away with that now.
Not at all. Not whatsoever.
Okay, she's brainwashed.
Yep. Must kill Mo.
Whee!
Oh God, we're terrible.
Say that, but who would want an army of old women?
I mean, it is literally like that Father Ted episode.
Absolutely. Or Dark Love, this Mighty Boosh episode.
Oh yes, yes. I remember that one.
I do love Moxie.
Who are you? I'm on with Glove. I can have you killed. I have no willy. Yes, also Big Dum Dum here in the room forgot to get his Pokemon out from the box after hatching the Deku tree, Deku seeds.
Absolutely.
So we're clearly like we're fighting with one arm behind our back here. So
yeah, look, no harm in that.
Yep.
No harm in that. There is I've seen styles of Nuzlocke not being done where you can't have any more than what your rival has.
Yeah.
So that's not a bad way to do it already. Oh, lovely. Love it when a plan comes together.
Nixon went down fighting much like the real one.
I will say I'm not the biggest fan of that's Blaziken.
Yeah, it's I think it's still in the team because it's just ticking the boxes of what we have left.
It hasn't embarrassed itself enough yet.
Yeah.
It hasn't made it enough crimes for me to argue it needs to be taken off the pitch.
Just get off your shit.
Speaking of that, now in the middle of Ted Lasso at the minute.
Oh well, how are you getting on with it?
Yeah, on the last season. About 3 episodes before the end. Don't know if have you finished it then?
Well, we finished it, yeah.
Lovely. Although that's probably going to be the weekend. We'll have that finished off.
That's
cool.
So,
oh God, all the people who are in line for the vaccine are gone.
Yeah, they've all just disappeared.
Yep.
They've all gone to the quickening.
I was going to say the town is completely empty, but there are still a few stragglers.
Yeah, exactly. There's a few just going like, "What? I don't believe in vaccines." Wait, I was right. What the fuck?
Yeah. Oh God, can you imagine what the world would be like if they had been proven right at anything?
Well, I can imagine what the world would be like. We'd be dying of bubonic plague.
I mean, it's back, so we kind of are living in it.
We kind of are living in it, yeah, I suppose. It's back for a new season. That's all it is. It's just
absolutely
seasonal plague. It's good for you. You know. So yes, I thought there would be some extra kind of special text after you got your vaccine, but no.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, these guys, of course, the advent of 5G wasn't the thing in this game. So
no, but look, even at that time, do you remember the scare tactics around 4G at the time? And how I can remember 3G being, what's going to give everyone cancer. Right. I'm allergic to Wi-Fi waves. Oh dear God, I have heard that exact thing. Right.
Yep. Sorry, I lost my speakers there, James. You have points.
No worries. I just said I can. I have been told that by people that they are allergic to Wi-Fi waves. So.
Oh yes. People say they're allergic to Wi-Fi. It's like, no, you're not. No, just stop. Get some help. It's like saying you're
Okay,
allergic
but-
to like microwaves. It's like, oh well, then don't reheat your food. Then you're doomed.
Yep. Oh no! I swear my teeth start chattering. No, not it. That doesn't happen.
No, that does remind me of whenever like you see these kind of anti-vax accounts online, and like you see a woman who's like very clearly just like is trying to put on that she's ill, and there's like one in particular who's trying to like walk from like one part of the room to the other, and she's just like putting in as many shakes as possible. It is the best, worst acting I've ever seen. It's absolutely fucking tremendous. Like, I don't even know if it's real or not, in a sense, where, like, maybe she does actually have this book, but, like, she's not convincing me either way. Like, you just need to do better. So, yeah, now we're on to our next rev, where, the hilarious enough, it's kind of like the cycling road of this world, because the concrete is actually double speed if you're cycling.
Ah, lovely.
Which is why the girl there on the bike is zooming around the shop like a mad joke.
Yeah.
Ooh, now this is a problem. Thankfully got away with that one. Ish.
Why the hell did you do that?
I would presume maybe I actually picked the wrong Pokemon. I think I meant to. I was trying to
say,
pick
can you explain what the hell went through your mind?
No, I think I just picked the wrong one.
Right.
I was pressing a lot of buttons at the time, James, and you know, I just felt in the mood to just like shake things up a bit, you know. After all, I mean, if I didn't do that, then you just have nothing to talk about, you know.
Oh, of course, Aquajet. There you go.
Hey,
Bit of Moxie.
you can never go wrong with it.
Oh, so whenever we said some things work well in the move to 2D sprites, Pyro was not one of them.
That ain't it. To be absolutely honest, I don't think like many people will pick Pyroar, so I think we're good on that one. I can't see.
Oh, no, but I will say the art style in general in this game has impressed.
Yeah, like it's the same thing where like it just hasn't overcomplicated it a little bit. It's just like it's like again, this is working off the RPG Maker bundle essentially, and then whatever added programming they're able to do themselves, which is quite impressive in its own right, because there's the sheer volume of dialogue flags and little cutscenes and the lecture
it's well done.
Yeah. Oh, it totally is.
Plenty of polish to it. If only Scarlet and Violet could have the same.
No. Oh dear.
All right then. So if we're getting this DLC in the next like 2 months, I think, or is it the end of the summer?
It's hard to tell, but it's been very quiet so far, so we don't know when it's actually coming.
What would you like to see get corrected out of it?
As in, like, mechanics-wise?
Yeah, as in, what patchwork do you think is still badly needed from Scarlet Violet?
Ooh, you see, it's been a long time since I played Scarlet Violet, so I'm trying to remember like what actually needs to be done. I think it definitely needs a bit of like once you've done the main plots, you're pretty much just at your own devices. So a bit of like just extra like an actual open-ended, a proper open-ended post game would be nice. Which I think is probably what the intended purpose of DLCs are there for. You know, because I think the one benefit of the
battle tower to it was my right.
Yeah, I would say that. Now the battle tower in Sword and Shield isn't great, but it serves a purpose. It gives you something to do, to fine tune things and so forth. Whereas, like, you think, what's the best thing you have is really just like your kind of like social gatherings and your terror battles and all that stuff. Now I do like the idea. I do like what they're doing with the terror battles. It's just like, here, there's a new terror thing like popping up and go. You have a week to catch it.
Yeah.
I like what they're doing. I wouldn't change that.
Yeah.
I would instead perhaps keep it. I wouldn't make it as limited edition as they think, because realistically speaking, you could pretty much cobble together what they're releasing from Pokemon Home and the like. So the actual prize as such, I don't think is any different. Now, when competitive play comes around and like say something funky comes out of it, then certainly you can release them and say there's your kind of hidden, there's your special little appeal there. There's that you can like, I don't know, like have the Baxcalibur that like won the VGC and so forth. That'd be something just like special as it were.
Oh, there's plenty of time to do that, but just so far since you've got your first 400, they're not going to go rehashing any of them just yet.
No, I think it's just more like the people will want more Pokemon. They want Pokemon they were missing the first time around. Yeah. That's not going to change either. So I think like what they would need is some interesting gameplay, really, just something different. And that's hard to quantify in a sense, because like how do you put something in different when you don't know what that is, you know? But
my thought would be like that would be the look, I'd say hopefully, and I know this isn't going to be the case, like we're 2023 now, the year with DLC. I'd say there's a non-zero chance we're going to get Gen 10 in 2024.
Yeah, I don't think Gen 10 is going to be that's going to happen anytime soon, because like I do think there is a lot more mileage in Scarlet and Violet. I think they just need to they need to give a reason for me to come back and play it. Like I'm not, and this is not coming from a selfish point of view, but like if I'm someone who's played Scarlet and Violet to completion, I've got enough of a buffer Pokemon used up to say, okay, there's my team, I've got all my stuff sorted. I don't want to really kind of like tune anything else up. I'll move on to another game. So what else will bring me back to the game? And that's what I'm kind of asking, you know?
Yeah. But like for myself, it's like I griped earlier on in this video, the shiny huntings I feel more difficult in this. So like that aspect of it's not going to keep me going for it. There's no battle tower anymore. There's like Crest have not done something like Pokemon contests again. They've tried and failed at that a few times now.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know why they tried bringing that back in Omega Ruby.
I think they brought it back in because it was in the original game. That's all it really was.
But Battle Tower, like they invested time in getting contests.
Yeah.
Whereas they could have not done that and given us the Battle Tower instead.
It's a fair point. I think they took the actual remake of Omega Ruby quite literally, because the Battle Factory was Pokemon Emerald, and I think if it was a remake of Emerald, then you would have got the factory as well. But that's the brief that they're given as well. It's like, no, you want to make a Ruby Sapphire, so you need to have the gimmicks in tow, but also to treat the games as if they're like their new standalone entries. So I suppose like in a sense that's why like BDSP is like, it's just a safe option. It is the safe bet out of the lot, because it is just more of the same. So if you didn't like the current experience with the 3D games, this is basically just reverting back to what you know and supposedly love.
And I have hemmed and hawed, do I want that for a Black and White remake? If they were to do Black and White remake and they were to give it just literally the fresh coat of paint and say, there you go, how badly received would that be?
That's the tricky part. You see, I think with something like that now, you're not going to please anybody really. You're not going to please everyone. So you just have to really just go by what you think is going to be the best game. You know.
Well, here's the thing though. Black and White wasn't the best received. It was Black and White 2 that got all the accolades, and Black and White 2 brought Black and White, brought them up in their estimation after the fact.
Yeah.
Like Black and White by themselves, interesting plot, ballsy decision to only give you the new ones. The plot was a bit more mature but grand, whereas it was in the second one that they went darker. So I do think like if they were to only give you Black and White, people would complain it was half done.
Yeah. Exactly. That's a good thing. Like Gen 5 is one of the few times where they actually put out a sequel to the first game.
Yeah.
And as you said, that's because like people generally like the plot. Again, shock horror. If you actually give some people a good plot to sink their teeth into, they want
Yep.
more of the same. Who
Yep.
fucking knew? Um,
Look,
but
I'm still holding out hope that they're going to finish out the Switch with Let's Go Johto. But
well, you see, I wouldn't say no to that, but I think it's also like is Let's Go as much of a selling point for Pokemon compared to what's out in the Switch at the moment? Like I would say
probably not.
at this moment in time, you're only really looking at whatever's there for Scarlet and Violet and maybe a periphery game. Like I would say you're more likely to see something that's quick and easy, like a Snap 2, rather than a full out and out remake game. Because what they would do is they'd be quite clever. I would like to think they'd be quite clever, and they would use that remake game to iron out the kinks on the new Switch. Let's say to basically flesh out what are we able to do with this new technology before we put out Gen 10? Because oftentimes with the mistake that they make with new entries is that they use the new generation on the current tech, not realizing its full potential. So X and Y is a famous example where, well, actually no, do you know what? Sword and Shield is actually a famous example because they knew they had like the ability to do open world stuff, but then they basically ran out of time and they realized, oh fuck, we've actually focused so much on the open world stuff, we forgot about the plot. So let's just skip over.
And yet people still complain about the open world stuff. Like the wild area was a tech demo for whatever Hisui was, which was only a tech demo for what Scarlet and Violet was.
Yeah, and like again, so that's two refinements on what was inherently a smashing idea. Like I'll always defend Sword and Shield for that in the sense where, hang on, like a couple of years ago, you like 10, 15 years ago, when you're playing the Game Boy or the Nintendo DS, and you're saying, man, I'd love to see this game in 3D. Like you're literally being given that. You're given that game now in Sword and Shield, so you can't really criticize it when you actually end up getting it, and it's a little bit naff, but that's fine. It's the first time the same studio, who was exclusively worked 2D for their entire careers, now moving to 3D. Like let's face it, like 15 years later than everyone else in the wider context, because like even fucking point and click studios moved on to 3D like 15 years ago, with the advent of CD-ROMs. So
I mean, but they also saw how badly some of it went. Like look at Sonic, who
like,
would have been one of their main competitors at the time.
Well, look,
like,
I mean,
how heavily that fell.
Yeah, 100%. This is a take on the Ruins of Elf puzzle, by the way.
Ooh, nice.
So we're basically trying to like reconstruct a circuit board. So it's essentially just like match the wires up, make sure they're okay, all that sort of stuff.
Yep.
But yeah, on to that point, like I mean, like my favorite game series is the Broken Sword series, and the first two games are absolutely tremendous, particularly the first game. Then you get the third game that like was his first foray into 3D, and it wasn't that great. The gameplay was a bit poor because in 3D they felt obliged to put something else in. They had to feel like, okay, we can't just do point and click stuff because it's not going to work in the 3D realm. We need to put in something else. So they put in stealth action and platforming, like very rudimentary platforming and quick time events. And say, okay, like if this is your first foray into it, so you don't, well, technically second, but they didn't quite know how to fit that square peg in there. To the extent when the fourth game comes out and realize, okay, people didn't like the stealth because we were bad at it. Fair cop, we'll put our hands up there. So let's give them something else. And they gave them a hacking mini game that was equally as fucking terrible. so at that stage, you see, they're trying to like, they've lost their center in that sense, where they realize, okay, what are we actually good at as a studio? So then, like about 10 years later, when they say, okay, we want to make a fifth game, it needs to be kickstarted, and they get like double their budget. I was like, oh fuck, okay, we weren't expecting this. So what they did was they went back to 2D, kept it simple, put out a story that was nice and controlled, and they put all the extra money to their next 3D project, which was Beyond the Steel Sky, and that worked out absolutely fine. So to circle back to the point I was making about like Game Freak moving with the times, as it were, the one thing you'd say is that if you're going to do something like, if you're going to move on to new tech, try and use your learning time valuably. So if you're going to make a game with a new machine, I think it's better off to use a Let's Go Johto or a Gen 5 remake or a Legends Arceus, a Legends Celebi, let's say. Legends Celebi seems to be one that keeps getting traction. So if there was a Legends Celebi, for example, I think people would be more forgiving over that because it is very clearly the pilot for the next generation of games. And I think people would be more forgiving about that. If people just simply started simply with the new generation, then you're kind of have another Sword and Shield situation where people are going, is like, you could, like, is this as much as the studio can do? You've like lost how much number of Pokemon in that time, and you're not giving us anything extra. And then they had to back then and start doing DLCs. And they let's face it, they did kind of rescue the game based off that alone.
They did. It's still, they salvaged enough is going to be a point in history books, I guess.
Yeah. But that's also that's their cautionary tale. So then, like, the lessons they learned from that, and then they roll that into Legends Arceus, and people went, "Oh my god, this gameplay is tremendous, and the setting is tremendous, and the idea alone is tremendous." And this is an idea they've had since the start of Pokemon. They've wanted to make a game in feudal Japan. So now this opens up a completely new dimension for Pokemon games, where we can go, "Oh, we can do now games with a historical context. We can do things where you can have Pokemon on people violence," in a sense. So, like, this is now
that's still a jarring point to go back to Arceus with.
But at the same time, like, that is a unique selling point of that game. So let that series have that. Let that game have that to its treasure. And then say if you end up making 2 more games like that, and it starts to outstay its welcome, then that's fine. We just move on to the next thing and see what we get. Like when the 2DS was, like, you can very clearly tell Game Freak loved the 2DS, because look at the sheer amount of games. Just generally, I know Game Freak didn't have their hands in all of them, but you know, they were the Pokemon guys for a long time. So they put out like 3 Mystery Dungeon games, 2 Rangers, fucking wasn't there a pinball game as well? Like, they put in like so much into that generation, the advanced DS era, that like when they started overtaking them a little bit and going, okay, now you are kind of obliged to do 3D gameplay now. You know, you can imagine this few of them are going to go, oh, okay, what do we do now? Like, because this is kind of all we know. But like, they will get there in the end. It's just like, it is a small studio and they're stuck in their ways, like a lot of Nintendo studios. I think it's also like, it doesn't help sometimes that when a Nintendo studio takes their idea and does it substantially better, they look worse by association. So for Sword and Shield, you had Breath of the Wild, and you had Mario Odyssey, and then now you have Scarlet and Violet, where people are thinking, "Oh, this game is fantastic." A couple of months, a year, like 9 months later, you get Tears of the Kingdom, and everyone's going, "This is actually the best game I've ever played." So, like, I think sometimes
I'm still at that now, by the way.
Yeah, you're still doing that. So, like, so even when you're like that, depending on how you look at it, that's either comparing apples and oranges, or you're just simply comparing the performance of 2 different studios under the same umbrella. So I think that's open to discussion, I guess. Because they're not to say they're for different markets, but they are 2 very different experiences. So what do you actually want in the game, you know?
Yeah.
So this is our. So as you can see, the whole gameplay there was just to get ourselves a Delta Cyndaquil, which we obviously defeated because we're overpowered. But we already had one in our box for an Egglocke, so we're good.
Yeah. All right.
So this was one of the proverbial side quests in the game where we can kind of solve this and save the guy's job, essentially.
But still a bit of fun.
Yeah, weird enough, he gives us the water stone, which I find weird. It's like you work in a power plant, sir. You've not anything like thunderstone shaped for us, no? I guess it must have been a hydroelectric place.
Dun.
Yeah. So this is me now trying to be being a bit tactical now with Dwemer, because the thought occurs that there's a couple of types not currently catered to. So I've given Dwemer Thunderbolt.
Yeah.
Few else in case, and it means that anything flying type is doomed when it comes to Dwemer.
Yeah. And in fairness, like I think we're happy with the team that we have, and we're not looking to chop and change too much.
I think it does.
If we're covering our bases now at this stage, yeah.
Now that is, of course, if you get like a bit of an X factor as an egg, then certainly we can have the conversation. But even now, convenient enough, this guy now gives a sludge bomb, so now we can actually have a poison type move in our arsenal now as well. So I think between that now and Thunderbolt, we pretty much have most, if not all, types covered.
Yeah.
So this is great.
Okay, so where are we for next after this?
Where are we next now? I think now there is a plot town coming up soon, if I'm not mistaken. Now I'm trying to figure out where exactly that is. We have a cave coming up, I think, and then we have our town. I think it is, as far as I can recall. Yeah, so we have our next our plot town is coming up basically at the end of this route after a cave. So it's a long enough route 15. But we are kind of like we're almost like doubling back over the top of the map if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So, and like I said, there's a few little hidey holes here where you can obviously like have the interaction with Delta Cyndaquil and a few other bits and bobs. We did have like a side quest here to try and find some guy's like magic rock, but it wasn't. I thought it was the Manectite he dropped, but no, it wasn't. So he doesn't get anything.